On behalf of the Illinois High School Association Board of Directors, their administrative staff, the IHSA Track and Field Advisory Committee, and the administration and staff at Eastern Illinois University, welcome to O'Brien Stadium for the first day of Class 2A and 3A competition, the 119th Boys State Final Track and Field Meet. Our competition is conducted under the rules and regulations adopted by the IHSA member schools. Sport a winning attitude and practice good sportsmanship today. Remember, attitude is for everyone. Enjoy the spring spectacular. This is a second call on the 4x800 meters to the clerk's tent, Class 2A. Second call, 4x800 meters to the clerk's tent. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I ask you to please rise and face the colors of the United States. In honoring America and those defending her freedoms both here and abroad, will you please join Mr. Elijah McGee of Charleston High School as he sings our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose but stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets red glare above bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. That was Elijah McGee, and you'll see him in just a moment down on the stadium floor. At this time, it is my honor to introduce to you the Assistant Executive Director of the Illinois High School Association, the Administrator in charge of cross country and track and field in Illinois, Mr. Ron McGraw.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association, it is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning on this sunny, crisp day. While it feels like we may be getting ready to start a cross-country championship, in fact, we're here to celebrate the championships of Class 2A boys track and field. We're very appreciative that you're here to join them and support them today, and I know you'll all do that in the most positive of ways. It's our custom at this time for our meet referee for the weekend to read a sportsmanship statement. So Mr. Pete Struck of Frankfurt.
The Illinois High School Association requires officials to enforce sportsmanship rules. Athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators all have a part to play in this process. High school athletics emphasize the positive values we all have worked hard to create: a sense of teamwork, respect, responsibility, and perspective. All attributes of good sportsmanship shared by competitors who demonstrate this good behavior. We encourage and appreciate your assistance in promoting sportsmanship, and we hope this competition will reflect a mutual respect of all parties. Good luck and have a great meet.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our first race will be on the track in just moments. First heat of the 4x8 in this Class 2A Boys Championships. Again, we appreciate your being with us and encourage you to encourage our young men to do their very best today. They've worked very hard to be here and deserve your support. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.
And ladies and gentlemen, now on to the track. We have the first of three preliminaries, Class 2A. the 4x800 meter relay. Here are the assignments. In position 3, there are 2 super alleys. Position 3 will have the Maroons of Champaign Central. In 4, from Southern Johnsburg. In 5, Richmond Burton. In 6, the Highland Bulldogs. Out in alley number 2, Chicago Northside. College Prep in 9. Lansing Ileana Christian, the Vikings in 10. Chatham Glenwood in 11. The Metamora Redbirds in 12. And the Pioneers of Normal University will be out in 13. And they are the sectional leader coming into this race. The record set 3 years ago by Springfield High School, 7:47.92. Our officials for this meet, the meet manager is John Polka, the coordinator of officials, Gaze Ehrentrue, the meet referee, Peter Struck of Frankfurt, the head field event referee, Don Hackler. The Class 1A starter, Galen Bennon of Byron. Your 2A starter this morning, Randall Jenkins, Mount Vernon. We will go to the starter. At the break, we look, and that appears to be U-High. That's Adam Bruno. We'll check that as they head into the north turn. And that are the colors of the Pioneers. Then Ileana Christian right behind, Chatham Glenwood. That's Vroeg for Ileana Christian. And Adam Bruno with the lead for U-High. Coming into this, Normal University is 7:56.19 in the sectional. Third best in the state. Cahokia, we'll see in race number 3 with the state's best sectional time. Right now, it is Bruno and Vroeg. And there's Vroeg gaining on Bruno. And Ileana Christian now has the lead in this race, entering the north curve and ready for exchange number 1. Ileana Christian in the lead. U-High in second. Vroeg with the lead for the Vikings out of Lansing. And Bruno for U-High. Now challenge start coming for third place. And we're underway. 19:29 running for Ileana Christian. That's Decker for Ileana Christian. And Alexander Bruno for Normal U-High in there. See if we can get a fix on third and fourth. Fourth place right now is Northside College Prep. 79 is Gerba. And your third place runner, that's Metamora in the 3 spot. Jason Argo running for the Redbirds. Then Richmond Burton follows the Rockets. That's Michael Bland with 400 to go in this leg at the 3-minute mark. Move on the back stretch now. Richmond Burton, Bland, looking to move into the 2 spot. Decker still leads for Ileana Christian. And Metamora looking to keep pace now with Bland for the Richmond Burton Rockets. That's Argo for Metamora. Here's Decker. Decker crossing behind the scoreboard. And the north curve. And Argo trying to move up on Bland for Richmond Burton. And Liana has made the exchange at just past the 4-minute mark.
Hang on a second. Nick, you want an update from the field events now?
Let's go to the field events where Steve Arrivo is out roving the venues.
East side of the track, we have long jump going on in the north pit, triple jump in the south pit. 2 pole vault pits are open for the south. 46.5 is our best triple jump so far.
Ileana Christian Ileana Christian still with the lead. Feeney for Ileana Christian, now here in the lead. Normal U-High, still second. That's Hoskins. And Metamora is third. That's Shearer, and Shearer pushing now for second place. Richmond Burton moving up. That's Wolfram for the Rockets, and Richmond Burton now into third. Feeney still with the lead for Ileana Christian. Ileana coming into the 4x800 meters. Actually in the bottom third of sectional times, so they're having a great race here. The Vikings from Lansing, and they were going into the anchors at the 6-minute mark. 6:01. That is Wandal, a freshman anchoring for Ileana Christian. Richmond Burton now into second. That is Arthur for Richmond Burton, Greg Arthur. Metamora challenging second. That's England. And J.D. Lafayette for the Pioneers of University High. Normal. Wandal is your leader into this north curve. And they're basically averaging 2-minute 800s. And he's going to come to the line just about at the 7-minute mark. 59, there's 7:01. He has 400 to go. Wandal with the lead. Normal University now is in second place. That's Lafayette for the Pioneers. Third is Metamora. That's Anglin for Metamora. Call on the 4x100s to the tent. Call on the 4x100s to the tent. And Lafayette now is trying to catch up with Wandal. And he continues to close the gap. They're in each other's space right now. And Lafayette swinging to the outside. Switches hands on the baton and heads for home with the lead. Normal University. J.D. Lafayette is going to hit the line at 8:03, 8:04. Then Wandal for Ileana. Third is Metamora. And England for Richmond Burton. Then Richmond Burton in after Metamora. Northside Prep is next. We'll go to the scoreboard See how the times officially track in this first race of the day in Class 2A. And the win to Normal University, 8:04.58. Ileana Christian second, 8:06.56. Third, I believe, is Metamora. Heat number 2 of 3 on the track. Here's the field. In lane number 2, Chicago Perspectives Charter. Class 2A high jump, flight 2 report. 2A high jump, flight 2 report. In position 2 of the Supe Alley, it's Perspectives Charter. And 3, Bennett Academy of Lisle. Arlington Heights St. Viator in 4. Peoria Notre Dame, the Irish in 5. The Flyers of the East Side, East St. Louis, will be in 6. Now into Alley 2, where Elmwood Park is in 9. Sycamore in 10. Aurora Central Catholic in 11. Stanford Olympia in 12. And Maple Park Caneland in 13.
The north pin of the pole is now at 13 feet. 13 feet. North pin of the pole vault is active. South pin is still taking warm-up jumps.
And we will go to the starter. All right, Maple Park Caneland comes into this with a 7:55.09. Connor Johnson. Time's a little slower this morning. Might very well be the 40-degree temperature we have here on the track.
Can I pull this up just a little bit? Yeah. Are we okay with it?
Tight group here as they pass through the first 300 meters. And there's Caneland in the early lead. Connor Johnson for Maple Park Caneland. And behind them is Stanford Olympia. Ryan Van Dyke, the leadoff runner for Olympia. A lot of jockeying going on. Caneland, Olympia, I believe this is Aurora Central Catholic on the rail. Myers, and then East St. Louis. Marcus Jackson in the 4 position. Swinging around to the outside is Central Catholic of Aurora. That's Myers. We head into the first exchange here in the 4x8.
Somebody in red coming on the outside.
On the outside, coming up is Bennett Academy. Swoboda. And now it's the battle between Caneland, Bennett Academy, and Kyle Carter wins it for Maple Park Caneland. They're back into the lead. Second is Aurora Central. Montalongo. Then Bennett Academy behind them. Verche running for the Redbirds of Bennett. Another move now on the outside. Caneland's still your leader, but moving there is Olympia, Stanford Olympia. That's Thurmond, and Thurmond is challenging Caneland for the lead. Carter of Caneland, your leader. So at this stage, it's Stanford Olympia and Caneland 2-1. Thurman of Stanford, Carter from Caneland. Third place is Aurora Central Catholic. Montelongo. Fourth place is still Bennett Academy. Verche for Bennett. Everybody out now from behind the scoreboard, and Caneland holds in for the next exchange. Carter with Stanford gaining on the lead, and the exchange is underway right at 4 minutes. And Acosta for Caneland at this time. Acosta, and Olympia is still second. Wesselo. Aurora is third. Central Catholic. It's Nat. And Bennett is fourth. That's Johnson for Bennett. And I believe the field has been lapped at this time. Perspectives Charter still to make an exchange. Flight 2 triple jump, report to the North Pit. Here again is Maple Park Caneland. Acosta from Caneland. And there's the Perspectives exchange. Caneland on to the back stretch. That's Acosta. Stanford Olympia still second. That's Wesselo for Stanford. Bennett now into third. Johnson looking for second place on Stanford Olympia. And Wesselo battling with Johnson. Now here is Caneland's Acosta heading into the anchor. Call on the 4x100s to the tent. Call on the 4x100s. There's East St. Louis out of the back field. Askew at 6:08. That's Baldwin for East St. Louis. For Caneland, the anchor runner. It's Cusera, Nathaniel Cusera. On the back stretch, East St. Louis in hot pursuit. Bennett Academy is third. That's Parisi running for Bennett. And Stanford into four. That's Stein, and Central Catholic of Aurora is Garcia. And there's been no change among the top five as far as schools, save for East St. Louis coming into the picture. Now Bennett Academy, that would be Parisi. At the bell, still running basically the 2-minute 800s as Cusera for Caneland sweeps through the south curve. Cusera now on the back stretch. Cusera and then Parisi, and now passing East St. Louis will be Olympia. That's Stein into third, and East St. Louis is in fourth now. That's Baldwin as your leader comes out from behind the scoreboard and completes the curve and is on the home stretch. Nathaniel Cusera. Let's see how close to 8 minutes Caneland can get. They had a 7:55.09. Again, they are slower than their sectional time at 8:06. And here is Olympia besting Bennett for second. That was Stein. Here's Baldwin for East St. Louis. And we'll go to the scoreboard. Maple Park Canelan's time, 8:06:45. Olympia, 8:10:15. Bennett Academy, 8:10:57. Then East St. Louis at 8:15:66. And St. Viator was that fifth school. They were basically in fifth throughout the race at 8:18:92. Aurora Central Catholic, 8:21:33. That's race number 2 of the 4x800 meters. That means the top winners, the 3 winners, plus the next 9 in time will make it through to Saturday's finals. There's Perspectives Charter from the south side of Chicago, still on the track. Let's bring them home. Flight 3, triple jump, report to the south pit. This is Brandon Lewis. And Lewis is home for Perspectives Charter. That's race number 2. Here now is race number 3 with Chicago Noble Street Charter in position 2 of Super Rally 1. Geneseo, the Maple Leafs in 3. Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin in 4. Rockford Christian in 5. And the Dunlop Eagles in the 6th position. That's second best in this race from a time standpoint. Then we have New Lenox Lincoln Way West in position 9 of Super Rally 2. The Rochester Rockets in 10. The Bloomington Raiders in 11. The Rams of Mount Vernon in 12. And the Cahokia Comanches out in 13.
Flight 3 of the shot put is about to get underway in the shot put area. This features the thrower from Peoria, who has thrown about 2 feet over the state record all season. So he'll be going for the state record here in the prelim in about 10 minutes if anyone's interested.
And we'll go to the starter. Field referee to the dugout. Field referee to the dugout. Here's Cahokia, your early leader. Cahokia with a 7:54.19. Marlon Brady.
Warriors in second.
In second is New Lenox Lincoln Way West. Third is Dunlop. That's Fabian for the Lincoln Way Warriors. That's Fabian. Cahokia still in the lead. Marlon Brady on to the back stretch. Final call in the 4x100s. They will get underway at 9:39. According to meet management, we will keep Class 2A as close to the printed schedule as possible today.
Dunlap's in second.
Dunlap is in second right now. That's Lett.
Bloomington in third.
Bloomington in third.
Now a challenge.
But Marlon Brady and Keith Jackson for Bloomington. Here's the exchange for Cahokia right at 2 minutes. That's Monaghan for Cahokia. Mike Monaghan.
Bloomington making a bid for second.
Bloomington making a bid for second. That's Collier passing Dunlop. And the Dunlop runner is Plank. Monaghan, Mike Monaghan in the lead for the Cahokia Comanches. Cahokia, a favorite here today for a team trophy in Class 2A. They've been a powerhouse in this class ever since it was created in 2009. Monaghan still with the lead, but here is Dunlop battling back against Bloomington. Plank for Dunlop. And both Bloomington and Dunlop closing in on Monaghan and Cahokia. Collier for Bloomington. Here's Plank now on the outside of Monaghan with Collier right along the rail. That's your 1, 2, 3. Monaghan still holding the rail. Slight lead here in Monaghan. Mike Monaghan returns to the lead as Plank and Collier challenge. Sacred Heart Griffin and O'Shea coming around. And Rockford Christian now in the picture in the 4 spot. That's Barrio of Rockford Christian. Here we go to another exchange at 4:04. And it is Jalen Monaghan now. The Monaghan brothers running in here for Cahokia. Bloomington is now second. We went from Collier to Smith on the Bloomington Raider exchanges. That's Crespo. Crespo battles Smith for second. And you see him on the outside. And fourth is Rockford Christian. Munkemeyer. A freshman, Nick Munkemeyer, in there for Rockford Christian. Meanwhile, we still have Cahokia. That's Monaghan, Jalen Monaghan. And Bloomington again, Smith trying to push Dunlop. That's Crespo, Evan Crespo running for the Dunlop Eagles, and he responds as they pass the finish line. Dunlop from North Suburban Peoria. Many years ago they were out on their own, northwest of Peoria. Now they're just a bedroom community. And Dunlop pushes for catching Monaghan. Here's Crespo for the Eagles. Closing ever so slightly on Jalen Monaghan. They're now within sight of each other as they hit the scoreboard. Crespo and Monaghan. Monaghan responds on Crespo. There's your 1-2. Cahokia and Dunlop. And we are into the anchors. Darren Payton running for Cahokia. Dunlop right with him. That's Roman, Cameron Roman. Dunlop They're the fourth best time in the state with a 7:58.31. Cahokia 7:54.19. You see them 1-2 right there. Darren Payton, the anchor for Cahokia.
Jordan Lemie needs to report to the high jump. Jordan Lemie from Hersher.
Jordan Lemie from Hersher needs to report to the high jump. It's Darren Payton. And for Dunlop, Cameron Roman. There's your 1-2 in this race. Bloomington now into third. That's Glaub running for the Bloomington Raiders. Your leaders on the back stretch now. Roman for Dunlop. Darren Payton for Cahokia. A lot slower than last week. Temperatures making a difference here. Probably the wind as well as they come around the scoreboard. Here's Noble Street Charter heading into their last 400. And your leaders heading for the finish line, Darren Payton and Cameron Roman. It will be Cahokia's race at 8:05, followed by Dunlop. Rockford Christian now pushing for third, and fourth is Mount Vernon. Glockman in for Christian, then Mount Vernon bests Bloomington. Badger for the Mount Vernon Rams. And Glaub for Bloomington. Here are the results. 8:05.33 for Cahokia. 8:05.82 for Dunlop. 8:19.18 Rockford Christian. 8:20.89 Mount Vernon. Bloomington is fifth. Rochester sixth. Coach from Rochester to the clerk's tent. Coach from Rochester to the clerk's tent. Sacred Heart Griffin is seventh. New Lenox, Lincoln Way West 8, and Geneseo 9. And here is Noble Street Charter coming in the 10 position. And they make it at 9:10.
What time's the next race?
Now on the track, ladies and gentlemen, here are the field in Heat 1 of 3 preliminaries of the 4x100. The record is 41.67, set by the Jacksonville Crimson last year, 41.67. All right, here's your field. In lane number 2, the Lakes High School. The Eagles of the Lakes in 2, Chicago Wendell Phillips in 3, Grays Lake Central, the Rams in 4. In the middle, after winning a sectional team title last week, it's the Thornridge Falcons of Dalton in 5. Chicago Robeson will be in 6. Troy Triad from the Metro East area in 7. Aurora Central Catholic in 8. And Glenbard South, the Raiders, will be in 9. Here's your field of 1 of 3, the 3 winners, and then the next 9 best times. All right, clean start. Your lead off for Thornridge, Yemi Ogunbameru. And that's Grayslake Central with a jump, swoops. So now in the second, this is Kevante Fox for Thornridge. Up there in the 5 spot, let's watch the Falcons, and it's a little bit of a stumble. That's Moses. So now everybody catching up with the field, so it's going to be anybody's race. There's Troy Triad coming into the finish, and then Grant, Thornridge trying to make it back up with Pfizer. Pfizer trying to blast through and going to the finish. It's going to be very close between Grayslake and Thornridge. Tate Jennings for Grayslake Central. Let's go to heat number 2. We have Metamora, the Redbirds, in 1. Winnebago will be in 2. The defending champions, Jacksonville, they also hold the record. They're back here in lane number 4. In the middle, they'll battle the Cahokia Comanches. And East St. Louis right next door in 6. Springfield Southeast, their girls team won their 4th title in a row last week. Southeast in 7. Maple Park Caneland in 8. Chicago Noble Street in 9. This is number 2 of 3, and we will have a 15-minute break for the hurdles. We'll have a full 15-minute break. This is an early call for hurdles to the tent, but we again will stay on time schedule. All right, watch Cahokia here in the middle, East St. Louis on the outside. There's Cahokia. That's Story on the leadoff. And Johnny Jones, he's a freshman. And then Caneland and East St. Louis battling back. That's Nature Strong for East St. Louis now into the 3rd. Still Cahokia and East St. Louis. That's Edwards for Cahokia. East St. Louis is Harlan. And into the exchange for the anchors. It is Cahokia, Tyron Lyons, and it's anybody's race. On the inside is Jacksonville. Here is Reggie Bratton, who was part of the record last year. Where'd they come in? It's a 43. Jacksonville, out of nowhere, wants to defend their state title, and they will do it on Saturday with the qualifying time of 43:37 in first place. Now let's go to number 3. Dunlop Eagles at position 2, lane 2. North Lawndale, the Phoenix of Chicago, will be in 3. Decatur MacArthur will be in 4. We'll see how Bowie is running for MacArthur. Midlothian Bremen in the middle. They're the best out of the state sectionals, 42:32. You can see how much of a difference there is in time between the sectionals and here. Then the Bloomington Raiders are in 6. Plano, the Reapers out in 7. Burlington Central in 8. Chicago Orr in 9.
Well, that makes you feel better with all the times we've asked.
Carter. All right, watch Bremen in the middle. Their leadoff is Charles Wade. Bremen from Midlothian. Actually, you've got lane number 1, Dunlop, running well. McManus for Dunlop. And North Lawndale running well. Holding the middle of the track is Bremen.
Third runner is Dalton.
That's Dalton. Coming up on them is North Lawndale. Now into the anchors. And there is North Lawndale.
Jordan for North Lawndale.
For North Lawndale, and now Bremen's got to try to catch up and get him. And he thought he was finishing early. 3:57. The win looks like North Lawndale. Bremen thought they had hit the finish line. They had not. 7 is Plano. 43:17.
43-20. Just 2 up. Good. To a 110-meter hurdles, there'll be 3 semifinal heats. Winner from each heat will advance to the finals plus the next 6 fastest times. Here are your lane assignments for heat 1 of 3. In lane 2, we've got Quincy Johnson of DuSable of Chicago. Patrick Lefevre from Aurora Central Catholic will be in 3. Roosevelt McNeil of Springfield Lamphere in 4. Gary Hickman of Cahokia in 5. Devon Dix of Bloomington in 6. Rodolphe Boyer of Lakes Community, the Eagles from Lake Villa, will be in 7. Dylan Nauert of Maple Park Canelan in 8. There's the field of competition in Heat 1. Clean start. We look to the middle of the track. That's Cahokia, Gary Hickman, Rodolphe Boyer of Lakes, and on the inside, Lefevre of Aurora Central Catholic. To the finish, it's Gary Hickman of Cahokia, Roosevelt McNeil of Lamphere, Rodolphe Boyer of Lakes Community. Here are the competitors in Heat 2, Eric Walters of LaSalle, Peru in 2, Austin Zick of Bennett Academy in 3, Amani Payton of North Lawndale Prep in 4, Marcus Greer, St. Louis Senior in 5, Yamiri Ogunmabur of Thorn Ridge in 6, Jalen Farr of Tinley Park in 7, Lucas Eggy of Burlington Central in 8, Jordan Scott of Chicago Ore in 9. It's a good start. It's Yummy of Thorn Ridge. Here comes Marcus Greer on his inside. It's Ogun Bamero of Thorn Ridge, your apparent winner. Then Austin Zick of Lane 3. That's Bennett Academy. We have a yellow flag on the track. Here are your lane assignments for the final semifinal heat. In lane 2, Lucian Fitzpatrick of Chicago Northside Prep. In 3, Jacob Connolly of Jerseyville. In 4, Tyler Ginger of Stanford Olympia from Harrisburg. DJ Duncan will be in 5. Zaniel Zilowitz of Mohammed Seymour in 6. In lane 7 from Woodstock, the Blue Streaks, Tyler Parsons. Cal Urecki of Metamora will be in 8. Robert White of Perspectives Charter, Chicago, in lane 9. There's the field of competition.
Test. Mic test.
Ogun Mabero, your winner from Heat 2, 1465, the winner. Zick from Lyle Bennett Academy was second, and Greer from East St. Louis third. Full field. We've got DJ Junkin, Harrisburg. It's Harrisburg, Duncan, and Ginger now on the inside in lane 4. Duncan, Ginger, and it's Parsons of Woodstock, followed by Zilowitz of Mohammed Seymour. We look to the scoreboard for the official. There's Hooker in lane 5. And Washington, Chicago Perspectives. And here comes Butlich from Lakes. It's a battle for second. Hooker, your winner from Sycamore. And Washington from Chicago Perspectives was second. Hooker's time 10:78. Here are the lane assignments for Heat 2. In lane 2 from North Lawndale Prep of Chicago, Terry McGee. Berwin Cause of Rich East in 3. Quintus Williams of Decatur MacArthur in 4. Trey Story of Cahokia in 5. Nateris Strong of East St. Louis, the Flyers in 6. Mashoud Ademo of Country Club Hills, Hillcrest, the Braves in 7. Freddie Mosby of Winnebago in 8, and Austin Brunig of Sandwich in lane 9. Lane 4 is open. Trey Story, Cahokia of the Comanches, and on the outside, that's the Trey Strong of East St. Louis. It's Strong, Trey, Story, and Cosse of Park Forest. Rich East. It's Strong. Here's your lane assignments, the final semifinal heat. Zachary Manuel from Nazareth Academy of LaGrange Park. Gage Patton of Metamora in 2. Tate Jennings of Grays Lake Central, the Rams in 3. Jamel McNeely of Kelvin Park, Chicago in 4. Reggie Bratton, Jacksonville in 5. Torian Parks of Bremen of Midlothian in 6. Tristan Fowler, Dunlap in 7. Trey Moore, Springfield Lamphere in 8. And Charvon Johnson of Chicago Phillips in lane 9. And we're bringing this one back. Lane 8 is now open. We look to the middle. That's Reggie Bratton, Jacksonville. And from Metamora, Gage Patton. It's Jacksonville. And McNeely of Kelvin Park. Reggie Bratton, Jamel McNeely. And Tristan Fowler, Dunlap. 10:59 on Bratton, McNeely, 10:77, and Fowler of Dunlap, 11:01.
And here's our first field, and we will introduce the field after the start of the race. This is section 1 of 3, Class 2A, the 800-meter run. All right, clean start. Here's your field. Patrick Brennan, Chicago Northside College Prep. In 3, John Wold. Glen Ellen, Glenbard South. He was in the top 3 in cross country last fall in Detweiler. Samuel Welburn. Quite the career for Jersey Community High School in 5. Grant Inskeep of Peoria Notre Dame in 6. Jarman of Chicago Harlan. Lezerke Jarman in the 9 position. And then Matt Nordyke of Riverton. Suburban Springfield in 10. Marcus Jackson of East St. Louis Senior in 11. Juwan Askew of East St. Louis. And B.J. Smith of Freeport.
6 and 13.
6 and 13 right now. This is Inskeep of Peoria Notre Dame battling B.J. Smith of Freeport. Next to them is Welburn of Jersey. Watch them coming through the south curve. And as they hit the backstep, it's 6, 13, 4, and 5. 4 is John Wold of Glenbard South. I believe he's been injured through most of the spring season, but has recovered quickly. 5th place is Marcus Jackson, East St. Louis. They're going to come around and head home here. Peoria Notre Dame and the Freeport Pretzels. Here is B.J. Smith. And with him is John Wold. Wold pushing up into 2nd. So B.J. Smith will get there around 157, followed by John Wold of Glenbard South. 156.34 for Smith. Wold at 157.04. Inskeep of Notre Dame at a 157.43. They're all under 2. Jackson of East St. Louis is 4th. Welburn of Jersey is 5th. Section 2 onto the track. Again, we'll give you these runners after the start of the race. All right, here we go with race number 2. Mitchell Lawson of Geneseo, the Maple Leafs in 3. Ryan Price, the Lakes in 4. Darius Thomas, the Macomb Bombers in 5. David Emmert, Sycamore in 6. That's alley number 1. Alley number 2 had Joshua Henry of Chicago, Wendell Phillips. Tyler Salmons of Arlington Heights, St. Viator. Here's Taylor Garrett of Charleston. He's in the 11 position. Nathan Allen, Decatur MacArthur in 12. J.D. Lafayette, Normal University in 13. Lafayette we saw on the anchor of the 4x8. 6 in the lead right now. That is Emmert of Sycamore. 6-9-11. There's Taylor Garrett of Charleston moving up on the outside. Garrett now into 2nd with 400 to go. David Emmert of Sycamore.
4 into 2nd.
And 4 into 2nd is Ryan Price
11-12.
of the Lakes.
12 into 3rd.
Into 3rd now is Allen as Garrett is fading along the rail.
5 into 3rd.
Now into 3rd is Darius Thomas of Macomb.
Charleston guys coming back. 6
And you still have 6-4 in the lead, Emmert and Price.
6-4-5-12.
And 5 is Macomb. That is Darius Thomas. Let's look for the finish here. And Garrett trying to get into the 4 spot for Charleston. Looks like he do it on the outside is Darius Thomas of Macomb. He's still looking to take away Emmert. 6-5 is your finish. Charleston in the 4 spot. Emmert of Sycamore with the unofficial win. Darius Thomas second for Macomb. Third is the Lakes. And now heat number 3. Darren Payton has the state record, 154.85. He's in this race along with Jalen Monaghan. We'll introduce the rest of the runners after the start. Zach Justice of Pontiac is in 3. Kevin Vroeg, Ileana Christian in 4. Carson Hahn, Mount Vernon in 5. Malik Lee, Chicago Gwendolyn Brooks in 6. Malcolm Gabar of Northside in 9. Coach from Wendell Phillips to the clerk's tent. Close. And check the leader right now is 3, I believe. That's Pontiac. That's Zach Justice of Pontiac. Right out of the blocks, there is Darren Payton. 3:13.5. 5 is Hahn of Mount Vernon. Zach Justice running like a man on fire. Darian Payton. Darian Payton, your defending champion and record holder, trying to keep off his teammate. Now on the outside, you got number 6. That's Malik Lee of Gwendolyn Brooks. It's still all Zach Justice.
Announcer.
4x2, calling the 4x2 to the tents. Here comes Zach Justice. Let's see if he goes for the record as well. Now number 11 coming on. That's Keelback of Winnebago. He's going to be close to the record. There's 154, 155. He's a second off the record.
Press box.
That's Justice
Press box.
of Pontiac.
Should be like 55.8, 55.6.
Somebody wanted us.
155.8 is Zach Justice. 158.83 is Lee of Gwendolyn Brooks. Heat number 1 of 3 setting up for the 4x200 meter relay. Again, there are 3 heats, which means the winners, and then the next 6 in time will make it to Saturday's finals. Chatham Glenwood has the record set 2 years ago, 127.29.
Throws to press box. We are missing Christopher Hawkins, flight 1 of the discus. We're getting ready to start. Christopher Hawkins from Chicago Perspectives to the discus, flight 1.
Christopher Hawkins from Chicago Perspectives to the discus flight 1. Here's the field for this race. Rochester, In lane number 2, the Rockets in 2. Galesburg, the Silver Streaks in 3. The Thornridge Falcons will be in 4. The Jacksonville Crimson in 5. In 6 is Chatham Glenwood. 7, the Bloomington Raiders. Metamora will be out in 8. The Redbirds in 8. And Glenbard South, the Raiders, will be in 9. And we're underway in this first race. In the middle here for Thornridge, the leadoff is Cross for Jacksonville. The leadoff, Juan Jackson. Let's look at the stagger. Fairly even. There's Jacksonville in the all red. And Vasquez will be in there for Jacksonville. Coming around the horn on the outside, there's Bloomington. And Keith for Bloomington, then Metamora out here. Inman for Metamora. Everybody even across the middle for the exchanges. Here we go. In 5, there's Thornridge. They're able to get it away with Galesburg and Rochester on the inside. Now onto the back stretch. There's Chatham Glenwood in the all red. That's Merrifield for Chatham Glenwood. Chatham, and there's their exchange, and then Thornridge behind. So the lead now for Chatham Glenwood. Giovanelli, and he was part of the record a couple of years ago. And Galesburg coming on strong. Here's the finish. It is 6-8. 7 is Bloomington. Chatham Glenwood with a win at 1:30.27. Then Metamora in the 2 spot. Race number 2 into the blocks. Here we go. Chicago Calvin Park in 1. Winnebago will be in 2. Dunlop in 3, East St. Louis Senior in 4. The Lakes in 5 from Lake Villa, Chicago Robeson in 6. Burlington Central in 7. Aurora Central Catholic in 8. Chicago Phillips in 9. 4x200 meter relay. The Lakes with a 1:28.66 coming into this competition. In the middle here, you've got East St. Louis. The leadoff is Kendrick Lewis, and the Lakes, it's Corey Hertz, a sophomore. Hertz a little lead there. The Lakes, powder blue over black. And now the jump is in the second spot for the Lakes. That's Jacob Ballew. East St. Louis right behind. That is Chandre Harlan. And then moving up in lane number 6 is Robeson. That's Sanders for Robeson. Now it's Savon Prince for Robeson. East St. Louis. Third running is Garner. And they're running stride for stride with the Lakes, which is Reffitt. Let's see this last exchange. And there is Hubrich, Hertz of Lakes. Butlich of Lakes now the anchor with Strong of East St. Louis. They straighten it out. Who's got it? East St. Louis and Strong. And Robeson there. Looks like they'll be third. It's Brown, the win to the east side. East St. Louis with the win. Followed by the Lakes and Butlich. 129.30, the win for the Flyers. Here's heat number 3 setting up. They'll include in lane number 1, be 1 through 9, Chicago Prosser. In 2, the Morton Potters. In 3, Troy Triad. Midlothian Bremen will be in 4, the Bremen Braves. In 4, Cahokia. State's best at 127.96 in the middle. In 5, Grays Lake Central. In 6, Plano, the Reapers. In 7, Olney East Richland will be in 8, and Bennett Academy out in 9.
Leading off for Cahokia is Trey Story, 1591.
The battle here between Midlothian Bremen and Cahokia. And Cahokia with Story holding the middle of the track and moving up. Cahokia, there's the exchange, and it's complete. That's Jamari Ward now with the stick for the Comanches. Grays Lake is Weathersfield out here. And then Bremen, they're in the white over red. That is Pearson. So we go to the next exchange. There's Cahokia. That's Edwards. Edwards with Grays Lake next door. That's Adams for Grays Lake. Look at that pattern coming across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bremen trying to hold from the middle. That's Dalton. And now we're into the anchors. Bremen's anchor is Parks for Cahokia, it's Tehran Lions, a freshman.
Tate Jennings for Grays Lake, I believe.
Tate Jennings for Grays Lake there on the outside of Cahokia. Going to straighten it out. It's Cahokia and Grays Lake.
Lions against Jennings.
Lions against Jennings. Here's Bremen trying to close the gap. 6-5-4. Your win to Grays Lake Central.
129-31.
129-31. The anchor by Jennings, the senior.
129-45 in Cahokia.
And then 125-49 Cahokia.
On to the track. Heat 1 of 3. Adonis Childs of Phillips will be in 1. Dominic Giovanelli of Glenwood Chatham in 2. Damian Allen LaSalle Peru in 3. Deshaun Jordan, North Lawndale Prep in 4. Nathaniel Kucera of Maple Park Canelan in 5. Trevor Ray of Lakes Community in 6. Brandon Riley, Chicago Morgan Park in 7. Tavon Landry of Carbondale in 8. Jeremiah Watson of Urban Prep Charter in lane 9. There's the field in heat 1 of 3. Lane 2 is open.
Phillips are the Wildcats.
Nathaniel Kucera, he's our section leader from Maple Park Caneland.
4 looks good.
And in lane 4, it's Deshaun Jordan of North Lawndale Prep. Out with the early leaders.
6, yes. Whoa,
And Trevor Ray
Four just pulled up.
running for the Lakes Eagles. We need a trainer to the track. It looks like Deshaun Jordan
200 meter start.
has an injury.
200 meters.
It's Kucera. It's Kucera and Trevor Ray. It's Trevor Ray of Lakes. Here comes Brandon Riley.
No, inside.
It's Kucera.
Canelan.
It's Kucera Riley.
5, 7, 9.
And maybe Jeremiah Watson will look to the scoreboard.
Canelan wins.
It's Kucera, Maple Park Canelan, 50.01. Riley was second at 50.05. Watson third at 50.13. Landry fourth at 50.38. Heat 2 of 3. Here's our lane assignments. Jermaine Moore of Chicago Phillips, the Chargers in 1. Sidney Smith of Woodstock North, the Thunder in 2. Michael Giovanelli of Glenwood Chatham in 3. Byron Kelly of Chicago Brooks in 4. Ryan Olson of Burlington Central in 5, Quintus Williams of Decatur MacArthur in 6, Jack Ryan of Evergreen Park in 7, Matt Shoup of Mohammed Seymour in 8, and from Metamora, Nick Danner in lane 9.
Results are online.
We look to the middle of the track. Ryan Olson, Burlington Central. He's your section leader, 48.72 a week ago in his sectional meet. Quintus Williams of Decatur MacArthur, the Generals, in lane 6. Lane 2, it's Sidney Smith of Woodstock North, the Thunder, being heard at the north turn.
He's pulling up a little bit, though. He's slowing down. He might have the lead.
Okay, MacArthur.
It's a Quintus Williams, the Generals of Decatur MacArthur. He's your leader, Ryan Olson. And here comes Chicago Brooks.
Burlington Central. Central is
Right now it's Ryan Olson, Quintus Williams, and Byron Kelly of Brooks. Olson's time, 49.66. Williams at 50 even. Kelly at 50 and 15. And Ryan at 50.79. And here's the final, semifinal heat. Andrew Porter of University High Normal in 1. Matt Ruff of West Chicago Wheaton Academy in 2. Leroy Chapman of Antioch the Sequoias in 3. Jalen Robinson of Freeport the Pretzels in 4. The Cahokia Comanches Marlon Brady will be in 5. Jeff Swanson of Winnebago in 6. From East St. Louis Senior, we have a freshman, Roosevelt Davis, in 7. Ethan Reschke of Geneseo in 8. And Lizurke Middlebrooks of Noble Street Charter Chicago will be in lane 9.
Animal was a drummer, I thought.
9 competitors in this field. Jeff Swanson from Winnebago in lane 6 gets off to a good start. Marlon Brady Cahokia, he's your sectional leader at 48.72. He's in lane 5, the white over blue. Leroy Chapman of Antioch from the Prairie Division of the North Suburban Conference. It's Chapman off the north turn. Marlon Brady Cahokia. We've got Brady and Chapman. And Jeff Swanson of Winnebago. Here comes Swanson. It's Brady, Swanson, Chapman. 1, 2, and 3. A fast final heat. 49.42 on Brady. 49.73 on Swanson. And on Chapman, 49.91. Davis was 4th. at 50-35.
And out in the southeast corner of the stadium, we have the first of 4 preliminaries in the 2A 300 hurdles. Call on the 1,600 meters to the tent. Call 1,600 meters to the tent. Matt Osborne, Chicago North Side, will be in lane number 1. Aaron Cable of the Rochester Rockets in 3. Lucas Eggy of Burlington Central, the Rockets of Burlington in 4. Yemi Ogunbameru of Dalton Thornridge. He has 2 final slots on Saturday. He's looking for his 3rd here. He'll be in the middle. Gary Hickman Cahokia will be next to him. J.D. Geeson of the Dixon Dukes will be in 7. And Max Ford of the Macomb Bombers out in 8. That's your field 1 of 4. And we've called the metric mile to the tent. All right. In the middle here, you got Ogunbameru, and he's running 2, and we've lost runner 2, which is Osborne. Meanwhile, you still have Ogunbameru of Thorn Ridge running strong with Gary Hickman. Ogunbameru and Hickman now, and it's Hickman who has caught it, and there you've got Burlington Central's Ege now moving into 2nd. Ege is shooting for 1st here. And he's going to get 1st. 2nd's going to be Cahokia. 3rd's going to be Thorn Ridge. Come from behind victory for Lucas Eggy. 39-31. Hickman at a 39-49. Ogunbameru, 39-86. Heat number 2. Guns up.
This guy's to text me if anything happened. Looked at my number. They don't have a radio even out there.
Who's in lane 5? The ref?
In the middle here is Marcus Greer of East St. Louis. Outside of him, Nauert of Maple Park Canelan, Billington of Bloomington Central Catholic. Then Cord Church of Rantoul and Chris Bednarski of Wakanda on the outsides. Cal Uricki of Metamora, Atone Joryman of DuSable. 5-6 right now is Greer and Nauert, East St. Louis and Canelan. It's all East St. Louis right now. Marcus Greer. 3 is Wakanda's Bednarski. It is still Marcus Greer. And now Nauert coming in for Canelan. 5-6-4-3 in this race is Greer, followed by Nauert. 4 is Billington. 3, Bednarski. Greer, 38-21. Nauert, then 40-05. Again, a split between under 40 and above 40. Here's Lucian Fitzpatrick of Chicago Northside in 2. Sandro Magraze, Johnsburg in 3. Austin Zick of Bennett Academy in 4. Devon Dix, Bloomington High in 5. Imani Payton, Chicago North Lawndale, will be in 6. Chris Moore, Cahokia in 7. Here's Patrick Lefevre of Aurora Central Catholic in 8. We know he's headed through to the finals on Saturday.
Jimmy still has the second fastest time.
All right, last call on the 1600, last call the 1600. There's Amani Payton in the all red for the Phoenix of Chicago North Lawndale. And Payton is moving up.
6, yeah, still 6.
And everybody else even. So Devon Dix of Bloomington, closest runner. It's still Payton.
6-7.
And 7 now is Chris Moore of Cahokia. 6-7-5, Payton, Moore, and Dix.
3's down.
And we lost 3. We just lost Magradze. It is still North Lawndale. And now Bloomington coming on. 6-5 is North Lawndale, then Bloomington. Devon Dix and maybe Austin Zick of Bennett Academy. Here's Magradze. He battles through for Johnsburg and finishes. So Payton, Chicago North Lawndale. The Phoenix at 38:47. And now heat number 4. Here's the field. It includes Robert White, Chicago Perspectives, Carson Cash of Marion, Daniel Medrano, Chicago Gwendolyn Brooks. In the middle is DJ Duncan of Harrisburg. Jalen Farr, Tinley Park is in 6. Nathan Hack of Chatham Glenwood in 7. Eric DeMattia of Pontiac in 8. Duncan is the state's best with a 37.81. This one here is probably going to set the remaining field in the 300 hurdles. 5 and 3, it's Duncan and Cash, Harrisburg and Marion, 2 schools from Southern Illinois. Duncan with a commanding lead, and then Marion's Cash, a little bit of trouble. He's having more trouble. That allows Medrano to move up from Gwendolyn Brooks, and the win will go to 5. 5, and then it might be a recovery for Carson Cash. 39.46 is the win. 38.46, and then Cash, your next one in at 40.56. That was for Marion. His troubles led you there. Now they're going to take back the time on second place. The milers are out here now. 1,600 meters. Call on the 200. Call on the 200 to the tent. We'll set this field after the start of the race. The official photographer, the gun's up. All right, here's the field in heat number 1. Scandalous Fritz, a senior for Chicago Robeson. James Cott of Richmond Burton in 3. Jake Van Gunten of East Peoria, the Red Raiders in 4. Will Graham, Rock Island Alaman in 5. Sean Milhauser of Pontiac in 6. Malcolm Gerba, Chicago Northside in 9. And then in the other alley, it's Brendan Hoskins, Normal University in 10. BJ Smith, we saw him win earlier for Freeport. David Modert, Mount Vernon in 12. And Zach Justice, we saw him blast away in an 800 earlier. Justice is in this race also for Pontiac. Right now, you've got Cott of Richmond Burton in the early lead. There's Cott. 6th runner is Milhauser of Pontiac. And coming up on the outside, that looks like Alaman. Will Graham, 6.35. James Cott, Richmond Burton, 63.5 on the first 400.
Well, he looks like Lucas out there with those socks on. See that guy in the front? That's how Lucas runs.
See how the pack is running together.
12 and 4.
12 now in 4th. That would be Modert of Mount Vernon.
Call the 200.
Call the 200 to the tent. 6-3, 5, 12.
13's in the 5th.
12 is Modert. 13, Zach Justice into 5th now. Now he's into 4. Let's see if he's got a gear to move here. That's, again, Zach Justice. This is the mile, Class 2A, Section 1. Pontiac in the lead, Milhauser, followed by Richmond Burton's James Cott, then Alaman's Will Graham, and then Zach Justice of Pontiac behind, and then 12 is Modert of the Mount Vernon Rams. Jameson Dale. We saw Jameson Dale last year for Chicago Jones. 4:15.97, setting it in the prelims last year.
4:22 pace right now.
4:22 pace right now.
12's coming back on 13.
And coming back on Zach Justice's Modert. We're at the 2:49, 2:50 mark. As the leader is still Pontiac, followed by Richmond Burton, Rock Island Alaman, and then Mount Vernon, Pontiac, East Peoria, Normal University. 6:35.12. Van Gunten now up there for East Peoria. All right, we're into the bell. Your leader is Pontiac's Milhauser. He's a senior. Milhauser in the mile.
12.
6th best time out of the sectionals with a 4:24.08. Milhauser, followed by James Cott.
Number 4 is next, then 13.
And then number 4 is Van Gunten of East Peoria. Let's check this. 6, 3, 5. 5 is Will Graham. They've been the top 3. Around the curve, Pontiac looks like another win here in the distance, but this time it's going to be Milhauser. Oh, here's Richmond Burton and James Cott. Cott blasting in on Milhauser. It's going to be Milhauser, but Cott made it interesting. At 4:23, here is Graham finishing for Rock Island, and I believe that is Mount Vernon next with David Modert. Milhauser with a 4:23.22. Cott, 4:23.42. Graham of Rock Island, 4:29.16. Then Modert of Mount Vernon, Van Gunten of East Peoria. There's Justice of Pontiac. He's 6th at 4:38. So we start out with a 4:23 here in the mile. Call for the 200 to the tent. Call for the 200 to the tent. Next out on the track, Section 2. And we'll set this field after the start of the race. All right, in this field we have Walmer Saavedra of Chicago Lindblom, Tony Wondall, Lansing Indiana Christian, Roy Hummel of the Dixon Dukes, Murphy Affolder of Mascoutah, Matt Church, East Peoria, second Red Raider in this race, Reed Rinella of Greenville, the Comets in 9, and he is your early leader. Keith Meyer, second place for the Bloomington Raiders. Curtis Reed of Mount Zion in 11. John Wold, he is the 2A state champion in cross country. And Wold we saw earlier in the 800. He's in the 12. Chris Martin Mascoutah in 13. Chris Martin with a 4:22.85. Again, now Wold has been injured through this season, but is making quite the comeback. He'll be a factor as we move into the finals. 9,
6-4-10.
Rinella and Meyer, Church,
4x2 in the 400.
and Roy Hummel of Dixon.
Here's your finalists, 4x200 meter relay section, or Division 2A, pardon me. Plano in lane 1, Chicago Robeson in 2, Bremen of Midlothian in 3, Chatham Glenwood in 4, East St. Louis Senior 5 in the middle, Grays Lake Central in 6, Cahokia in 7, Lakeville Lakes High School in 8, and Chicago Phillips in 9. Your best time in the prelims was East St. Louis at 1:29.30. Grays Lake was 1:29.31.
And right here we got Keith Meyer of Bloomington in the lead, Matt Church, East Peoria in the second, Roy Hummel of the Dixon Dukes in third.
11 on the outside, looks like.
Long jump 3A, flights 1 and 2 report.
11's into fourth.
Into fourth place right now is Curtis Reed of Mount Zion.
Oop, on the outside, moved on the outside.
It might be Wold moving up on the outside. 10:65. That's John Wold into third.
400 meter dash 2A. Finalists are as follows: Byron Kelly of Chicago Brooks in lane 1, Brandon Riley of Morgan Park from Chicago in 2, Leroy Chapman of Antioch in 3, Nathaniel Kuchera from Canelan in 4, Marlon Brady of Cahokia in 5, Ryan Olson of Burlington Central in 6, Jeff Swanson of Winnebago in 7, Akinthus Williams from Decatur MacArthur in 8, and Jeremiah Watson of Chicago Urban Prep Charter. Your top time, Marlon Brady of Cahokia, junior, 49.42.
And now into the lead we have Wandal of Ileana Christian and Keith Meyer of the Bloomington Raiders. And now Meyer back into the lead as we head into the bell. There was a 69 on that split. Looks like we've got in the south curve Bloomington, Ileana Christian. Here's Wold. 13 is Martin of Mascoutah.
No, that's
Three.
That's
Three in the lead.
Second.
3 in the lead. 13 coming up on the outside, Chris Martin,
10 is
who had a 4:22.85 for Mascoutah. And there's 10. Again, Bloomington. And there's Wold trying to come up into the 3.
Kid from Ileana's the junior, the older brother.
And Tony Wandall trying to stay with Mascoutah. Here they come. Chris Martin, a sophomore, has this race right now. Here is John Wold. He'll come in second, challenge for third coming on. The win to Mascoutah. And then John Wold. It's Martin, the sophomore, 4:22.05. Wold of Glen Ellen second. Wandall of Ileana Christian is third. Murphy Affolter of Mascoutah is fourth. Meyer of Bloomington, they're going to pull that back on fifth place. Hummel of the Dixon Dukes next, 4:25. Then Meyer of Bloomington is sixth. Again, this is now heat number 3. Again, we will give you the field after the start of the race. Second call of the men's AAA high jump. Flight 1. We're into 3A field events. Patrick Brennan, Chicago North Side, is position 2 in this race. Anton Verche, Bennett Academy in 3. Ryan Van Dyke of Stanford Olympia in 4. Mark Mayton, Chatham Glenwood in 5. Ben Mordick of the Vernon Hills Cougars in 6. He is the second best time in this one. Nick Wandall, the freshman, his brother was in the last race for Ileana Christian. Here's Ethan Adelfinger of Rock Island Alman in 10. Zach Planck of Dunlop is in 11. Matt Myers, Aurora Central Catholic in 12. And Riley McInerney, the sectional best, is in 13. That looks like McInerney in third right now. Your leader is Mayton. Mayton and McInerney have had battles throughout the spring. McInerney with the best time out of the state. Sectionals 4:18.54. Mayton with a 4:24.80. Commanding lead for Mayton at the moment. Second place is Mordick of Vernon Hills. McInerney gaining on Mordick. Let's see how long Mayton can keep this pace up. McInerney, the 2-time bronze medalist in cross country, 2012, 2011 at Detweiler Park. Flights 1 and 2 AAA long jump report. Mayton and McInerney. 2:03 coming up. Both those names are legacies here at Eastern Illinois University. McInerney's father, an All-American for Eastern in the 70s. Mayton's uncle, a national champion, Division I indoor 800 in the middle 1980s. Mayton in the lead. McInerney is second.
10 is third.
He's way ahead of state record pace. I don't know what he's doing. He went out 2:03.
12 is
Mayton went out in 2:03 for the first 800. And he's coming around the curve. McInerney now with Aurora Central Catholic in the play. 12 is Matt Myers. He's got to run a 65 to break Jameson's Dale record of last year. Mayton appears to have it in the gas tank. And perhaps at this time, like last year with the preliminary setting this record, it's just strategic to have Mayton be the leader. There's a bit of a stride difference here. McInerney has caught Mayton in the final 400 in the past this season. He's working at it here, 356, 357, and I think Riley McInerney has the second gear. Let's watch this one, ladies and gentlemen. Riley McInerney does it again. Lays back till the final 400, and your state leader wins at 420. Riley McInerney, Mayton, heroic pace to the end, is second, 420.41. Mayton is second for Chatham Glenwood. Myers of Aurora Central Catholic is third. There's Adelfinger, fourth for Rock Island. Mordick is fifth, 432.04.
At the blocks, competitors in the 200-meter dash, there'll be 3 semifinal heats. Here are your lane assignments for Heat 1. Michael Morgan of Chicago Phillips in 1. Dylan Putnam of Canton in 2. Horry Kurtz of Lakes Community in 3. Christian Neal of Bloomington in 4. From Cahokia, Trey Story in 5. Gabe Williams of Genoa Kingston in 6. Kendrick Lewis of East St. Louis Senior in 7. From Maple Park, Canelan, Brandon Cottier will be in 8, and Jeffrey Allgood of Urban Prep Charter of Chicago in lane 9. Nine competitors. Kendrick Lewis, East St. Louis. And Trey Story of Cahokia. It's Cahokia.
Inside of him in 4.
And Christian Neal, Bloomington. It's Story and Neal. Story, Neal, and Hertz. 1, 2, and 3 from Heat 1. We look to the clock. Story, 22:06. Neal, 22:31. Here are your lane assignments for Heat 2. From Chicago King in 1, Nathaniel Powell. Jonathan Boy of Decatur MacArthur is scheduled to be in 2. Montarius Wheatley from Springfield Southeast in 3. Terry McGee of North Lawndale Prep, Chicago in 4. His teammate Deshaun Jordan will be in 5. And from Hillcrest Country Club Hills, the Braves, Moshood Ayademo. In 7, we've got Eddie Lusk from Troy Triad. In 8, Evan White from Rochelle, the Hubs. And Wyatt Martinson from Mendota will be in 9. Lane 2 is open. That's another scratch for Jonathan Boy of Decatur MacArthur. That's McGee in lane 4 from North Lawndale. Adiemo of Country Club Hills Hillcrest. The Hawks.
Here comes 5.
Adiemo
6, 4, 5.
and McGee
4, 5, 6,
and Jordan
7, 6, 4, 5, 6.
and Lusk. Adiemo, McGee, Jordan, and Lusk. We look to the scoreboard. Adiemo 21-89, McGee 22-18. And they're off. It's Pfizer and Hooker and Cotton. It's 5-4-6. Hooker, Cotton, and Pfizer. It's Deion Hooker. It's Hooker. It's Hooker, Cotton, and Pfizer. We're going to look at the board. 22:05 for Hooker. Cotton was second. 22:35. And we're looking, it's Pfizer was third, 22:38, and Clark fourth at 22:07. And onto the track, heat 1 of 3. In 2, we've got Chicago Robeson. In 3, Winnebago. The Redbirds of Metamora will be in 4. The Knights of Maple Park, Canelan in 5. The Purple Raiders of Bloomington in 6. The Eagles of Dunlop in 7. Rochester will be in 8. The Rockets and Bennett Academy will be in lane 9. Coach from Wendell Phillips of Chicago, please report to the clerk's tent. This is a 3-turn stagger, so when the runners reach this point of the race on the next lap, we'll be able to figure things out. Maple Park Canelan is the section leader at this time, and the leader is Connor Johnson. He's a junior running for the Knights in lane 5. In lane 6, we've got Bloomington, the Raiders, running in, it appears, white over purple, and it's Jonathan Warren. He's a sophomore running for Bloomington at this first leg. In lane 4, we've got Metamora, Ryan McMorrow running for Metamora. Leading now, it's Bloomington, it appears. Bloomington and Maple Park.
51-3. There's Glaub. Jesse Glaub.
Jesse Glaub running the second leg for Bloomington. 51-3 on that opening leg. And now, Canelan, Maple Park. Kyle Carter running for Maple Park. Now into the lead with 200 meters remaining. That's still Glaub and Bloomington running in second. Chicago Robeson in third. They're followed by Dunlap. Sanders from Robeson now making a move. It's Canelan at the exchange.
Third runner is Nauert, N-A-U-E-R-T.
Nauert, Dylan Nauert running this third leg for Maple Park. He's extending his lead. Robeson now into second.
Dunlap in the third. Third runner is Siobhan Prince for Robeson.
Siobhan Prince, a senior, runs for Robeson. Dunlap, the Eagles, now running in third. Evan Crespo, the senior, running for Dunlap.
Still,
It's Maple Park Canelan. Dylan Nauert.
Dunlap is moving.
Here comes Dunlap. It's Robeson and Dunlap. And here comes Bloomington back into the race. Keith Jackson for Bloomington now into second. To the bell lap, the final exchange. It's Canelan. 50.5 on that third leg on Nauert. It's Casera running the anchor for Canelan. It's Nathaniel Casera. Here comes Bloomington.
Bloomington is Devon Dix.
Devon Dix running for Bloomington on the anchor. He's a senior, now challenging. Robeson hangs on to third, and Dunlop fourth. Lewin Brown for Robeson, turning for home.
Kusera versus Dix.
Kusera and Dix. Kusera extending a lead, and here comes Robeson.
Robeson again is Brown.
That's Kusera. Maple Park, Canelan, and Dix, followed by Brown. 54.5 on that anchor leg. 50.5 on that anchor leg. We look to the scoreboard. Maple Park Canelan 3:23:22.
Here's the field out there. They'll have Chicago Wendell Phillips in 1, Aurora Central Catholic in 2, Springfield Southeast in 3, Normal University in 4, East St. Louis Senior in the middle, Flyers in the middle, Mahomet Seymour in 6, the Bremen Braves in 7. Out in 8, it's the Thornridge Falcons from Dalton, and Glenbard South, the Raiders, in 9. And clean start. In the middle here, you got East St. Louis leading off for the Flyers. That's Askew. And they're moving up on the stagger, the only one out there, save for Phillips, down in lane number 1. 3-turn stagger. This is the second of 3 preliminaries. So we're almost done with Class 2A here, just at 10 minutes after 12. Here's Thornridge running well on the outside. Geiger is running there. Now watch lane number 6. Lane number 6 has the exchange. That's Muhammad Seymour. That's Rock for Muhammad Sr. and then East St. Louis, and they're in the dash. That's Davis for East St. Louis. Here we go to the break line. And East St. Louis swings out on Muhammad. That's Davis and Rock. Here 1-2. And let's see who's third at the moment. That might be Thornridge. It is TR. That's Cross, and I believe you have Normal University right behind them. Central Catholic making a huge move right now for Aurora. That's Zach. Now your leader is East St. Louis. That's Stainback for Muhammad. Stainback for East St. Louis. And Muhammad right with him. Holfelter for Muhammad. Stainback for the Flyers. And Muhammad Holfelder is gaining on Stainback. And the battle is between Thornridge and Normal U-High for third. That's Hupp for Thornridge. And now we go to the anchors. That Greer for East St. Louis. Muhammad is second. That's Schroyer for Muhammad. Trying to get the acceleration on the curve to go past East St. Louis. They're gaining, but not much. Thornridge barely in third over Normal University. That's Yemi Ogunbadewu. That's Lafayette running for Normal. We saw him on the anchor in the 4x8. Let's bring him home. East St. Louis. That's Greer for East St. Louis. There's Bremen trying to make a factor into third. Muhammad is second. Here's Lafayette trying to finish third for Normal, and they will do it. Lafayette and Normal third, Thornridge fourth, Bremen fifth. 49-7 on the anchor for East St. Louis. Your win, 321-48. And that is the east side with the first. Muhammad is second, 322.87. Normal University and then Dalton Thornridge, 3-4. Midlothian Bremen is 5.
And we're underway. Leading off for Cahokia is Tyran Lyons, a freshman. His number is 1583 on his back. But Mount Vernon here is apparently going for it. They've made up the stagger on Antioch. That's Montez Miller here. DeMontez Miller, a sophomore for the Rams. Taking it out. Cahokia running in what appears to be a calculated race, trying to run a nice even split. On the inside there, we have the Eagles of Lakes High School. That's Jacob Ballou, a sophomore from Lakes High School. Cahokia now coming in strong. Again, that's the freshman Tyran Lyons at the exchange, 48, 49, 50, 51. Here we go. Everybody appears to be clean. It's Lakes on the inside in second, Cahokia in first, and on the outside there, Mount Vernon's trying to make a burst as we're going to come off the corner here. It's going to be 4 wide for third place down the back straightaway. In the red, that's the Titans of Chatham-Glenwood into third. Mark Garrett's, we believe, for the Lakes there. Mark Garrett's for the Lakes. On the outside is Mount Vernon now. We're going to bunch up for second here. Cahokia out to a lead. Robert Greider from Mount Vernon. He's a junior. Robert Greider from Mount Vernon. Cahokia. Chatham in third. Jalen Monaghan here from Cahokia, one of the Monaghan brothers. Cahokia averaged just under 51 for both the first 2 runners. I see Chatham down the backstretch, but on the outside there, very strong burst. That's BC Burlington Central. He is going into third now. Neubauer, Burlington Central, full of energy here, getting his team into third, and we're going to go 5 wide again for second place here down the stretch. We've got a little bumping. Chatham there, still running strong. Cahokia running away. The Lakes in second. Lake Villa Lakes. Ryan Preyas. 2:32 at the bell lap for Cahokia. Marlon Brady, a junior from Cahokia, he's just going to make sure he gets it around the track in one piece. That's Trevor Ray, a senior for the Lakes. Chatham-Glenwood now in third. That is Michael Giovanelli, a junior, challenging for second position now. And on the outside there, we've got another burst from Burlington. Once again, Burlington runner out strong. Can he hold on down the straightaway? Ryan Olson of Burlington trying to get his team in here, but here comes Chatham-Glenwood. Cahokia trying to hang on. Giovanelli, your winner, Cahokia, 3:21. Lakes second, Chatham third. Outstanding times here. Mount Vernon there pulling in fifth. Cahokia was your winner with a 3:21.5. Very nicely done. Lake Villa Lake School, 3:23.84. Chatham-Glenwood, 3:4.42. Burlington Central, 3:27. And we will let you know once we get results for the 4x4 in terms of who is actually going to run tomorrow.